So I saw the movie Bloodshot. It was actually amazing, which the movie based on a comic book, which is not actually Marvel or DC, but a comic book studio called Valiant Comics, which they actually created their own comic book heroes, which they used to work for Marvel, but they actually made their heroes more badass than Marvel and DC, which we actually have Bloodshot, Ninjak, Exo Man Arms, Eternal Warrior, and my personal favorite, Shadow Man. So let's actually get to reviews on Bloodshot movie, which the movie begins in Mombasa, Kenya, where a soldier by the name of Ray Gibson, played by Vin Diesel, who's in the Fast and the Furious movies, and Groot of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers Endgame, which he actually rescued a hostage, which he took out the gunman's henchman, then took out the gunman himself. Then we actually see him return in the army base with his wife, Gina, which they actually spend some time together alone as in peace. However, we actually saw the gunman, who actually is unknown, starting to attack Ray, but then he actually was knocked out by one of the henchmen in disguise. So we actually saw Ray in a meat locker where he actually, when encountered by a man called himself Martin X, which he actually going to take his revenge on Ray by killing his wife Gina and then kill him as well. Then we actually seen Ray in the operation table where he was actually was confronted by a man by the name of Dr. Imzo Harding and KI, which is an acronym for KT, my bad. So they actually are in a company called RST, or short for Rising Spirit Tech, which helps Ray revive by bringing him back to life. So they inform him that he was actually killed. So he actually was introduced to tiny machines called nanites. They can actually heal any wounds that he actually suffered, but they actually told him that they're in his blood. So he actually was introduced by the rest of the soldiers, which KT actually has a rebreather, which she used to be a SEAL on a covert operative, but she actually lost her lungs because of respiration problems. Then Taps, which he actually a former soldier, but he was actually blind with both eyes due to a chemical attack. So he was actually got optical prosthetics all over his chest area, which cameras all over his vest, so he can see everything. And then Jimmy Dotson, who actually a former Marine soldier who lost both his legs during an explosion, and he's kind of a jackass at first. And so we actually saw Ray test out his new abilities with his nanites, which gave him super strength, super speed, and then bypass any electronics, which he actually have a moment with KT. However, we actually saw him remembering what happened to him, and so he actually go out and find Martin X, and then we actually saw him attacking him while he was in a phone conversation with a man named Nick Boris, and he actually killed his henchman, then got into him with his healing factors, and then he actually returned to RST. So we actually seen him being reprogrammed all over, which Dotson actually shut out his mobility, revealing everything that actually happened to him. So we actually see him being shut out again, by which he actually wasn't part of this because of Harding, which we actually see him being reprogrammed all over, which changing the memories of the mission Kenya, and then changing the face with now Nick Boris, which we feel to be him and Martin are part of the RST employees. So he killing former employees who used to work in RST, in which they did the same thing all over again. Now, Ray, also known as Bloodshot, which is the project name, has set out to kill Nick, which we actually seen Bloodshot being killed by Nick's men. Then he actually killed Nick by doing a Trojan horse, which also with Nick is a guy by the name of Wilfred Wiggins, who actually is a tech operative, a tech specialist who actually do coding, which is his life, and he actually proved to be smart. So we actually seen how he actually gave him a device, which is the EMP, and we actually saw how they actually knew if they turn it on, it'll shut out his nanites. Then we saw Bloodshot kill Nick. However, Wiggins actually turned on the EMP and then shut down Bloodshot as well. So he actually brought him back to life, which he actually has no signal to contact RST. So we actually see him actually was informed by Wiggins that he was actually was lied to, but his wife is still alive. Thank God. So he actually reunited with his wife, but it actually turned out that she actually moved on and actually got remarried, actually upsetting Ray in the process. So Harding sent Dotson and Tebbs to get Bloodshot. So they actually do a motorcycle then parkour chase. So we actually saw them incapacitate Bloodshot, which they now actually get ready to do the same process, but this time with Wiggins. However, we saw KT actually kidnap Wiggins as well, but only to help with freeing Bloodshot. After she refused to help with the same script, she actually suffered respiratory problems due to Harding controlling her rebreather. So we actually knew that he's the bad guy of the entire movie. However, we actually saw KT kidnapping Wiggins, and then with his help, she was able to reprogram the nanites that actually controlling him. So we actually gonna see what's gonna see what does all mean. So Harding sent Tabs and Dawkins to fight Bloodshot, with Tabs actually using knives, but Dodson actually using robot arms on the back, which we actually seen him battle with robot arms, just like Dr. Octopus, and we actually saw them battle, and then battle through the elevator. Then Tabs actually followed suit, in which during the elevator being collapsed, we saw Dodson actually kill Tabs. Then Bloodshot activate his powers to disable his arms, then killing Dodson in the process, which we actually seen KT actually disabled these servers, then actually saw Bloodshot encountered Hardings, while realizing that his nanites had begun override, which he actually was healed in a badass scene where he actually walking while healing. Then we actually saw Harding actually using the second grenade launcher after the first one was destroyed, in which we seen Bloodshot sacrificing himself and killing Harding. However, we actually saw him bring back to life, but this time with Wiggins, and they actually working together with KT, and then they all actually drove away into the sunset, which we saw Bloodshot get ready to use his powers for good. Now, I'm absolutely loving Bloodshot movie, even though the similarities between Valiant, Marvel, and DC Comics or actually have similarities with the superheroes. However, I actually love Marvel movies, but now I'm actually starting to love Valiant comics, including its first movie with Bloodshot. So I actually hoping they're actually going to make more movies with Valiant comics, including Ninjax, Exo Man at Arms, Eternal Warrior, and of course Shadow Man. Now I'm actually had to be honest, I am actually cannot wait to see the rest of the Valiant heroes get their own movies as well. So yeah, you guys can also check out Bloodshot that's coming out today. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment on what you think about this movie review. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and like my Facebook page. Until then, it's Anime Guy Journey here saying signing out. Laters!